I know this is really serious. It's something that I don't know if I should say something we've been okay, well, it's it exists. We'll have to go through it. Tonight is not going to be a very easy night. I know that. Not just for me, for all of you. So yeah, let's just take a few minutes to compose ourselves before we get into the well, just to really get ourselves mentally ready for the upcoming story because once we finish this player-made comic, that'll be referenced in a future task, I think. Then we're going to handle something really we're going to handle the road story. Oh, and VLC media player crashed. So now I have to get VLC media player appearing on the thing again. There we go. I'm getting the playlist started just for the comic and for Scars and Regrets. I'm going to keep it silent for the road story. Mm, yeah. Just 4 more minutes until we start. I'm not looking forward to this. I don't think anyone was looking forward to this. It was some We've been expecting this for the longest time now I can't remember which day it was that we had to that we were first expecting it, but sometimes I just really wonder what people are thinking when they do stuff like this. Oh yeah, the retcon. Hmm. That's another thing too. Like, Glip, you didn't write the fucking story. Why'd you retcon it? To make yourself look better? No. No, you still drew that. And not only did you draw that, but you also made it public. Um, well, here's the thing. One of the other mods, remember Resignation? Same author as the Road Story. And just like with the sex scene in Resignation, it was meant to be private and for Glip's eyes only. That doesn't justify it. He, I do remember him saying that he deeply regretted that story. I think it's somewhere in the shipping video that I made one time. That's almost got like 1K views now. I'm surprised. Where is it? Yeah, it's here. It's like somewhere here. I don't know what the other mods were thinking, and I have no idea how to like ask them about what was going on with this. I mean, I could probably ask Latsy. I don't know if they'd be comfortable with the answering. Hmm. 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 So, didn't I have two screenshots involving this, or was this the only screenshot I had? Because the one thing I hate about Steam is that it deletes old messages. So if you haven't screenshot them, then they're just gone forever. And yeah, I do remember hearing about those situations, like with the whole Pearl Pie thing. I don't know if there were any other major examples of that. That's just the one that I think of whenever I hear about that. Man, I can't believe things were like that back then. But right, it's time to begin. All right, welcome everybody to day 20 of PMDE readings, where first we gotta get this out of the way. So, this is a bit off course for me a bit, and for what everyone else of y'all will think, but this story was referenced in canon, and I'm not gonna like it. Well, I mean, anyway, sorry, I'm just thinking about what's upcoming, so let's begin with I think this is called To Each Their Ends by Chili Sundance. Again, player-made comic that is referenced in canon, so might as well. Hmm. Oh, wait. What was I doing again? It was something good. I did something good. Hey, hey, boss. Boss, I did it. I did a thing. Well done, kid. You did a very good thing. You made Slasher very proud, Sundance. Yeah, so it might be weird reading a player comic like this, but trust me, it'll be a bit of a, I guess, a warm up or something. You're everything I could want in a gang member, Sundance. I'll protect you and your mother always. Slasher, you're the best leader ever. Thank you. We're in this together, kid. I care about you like a son. We'll protect each other, right? You'll protect me, right? You useless little piece of shit. So yeah, I should also mention that this is dubiously canon at best, but I still want to read it because no, stop it! Give him back! I wasn't even there when he died. I'm sorry, I let him down. There's that fucker, that motherfucker. That nightmare again, True. Bit of a quiet day, hmm? I don't see any merchants or rescuers. What about us rogues, though? Maybe something important's up. Well, there's Dimitri, but what is he doing with that repellent Almomola woman? There's an O that's missing there. Yoo-hoo! Hey there, handsome. You're a rogue, yes? We could use your help. Oh, hey you two. Come here, we've got a situation. One moment, dear. I'll be a second. As you can see, I'm sopping wet. Oh yeah, I think the thing about this character is that he's a bit of a pervert. Oh, this is Rowanhard, if I remember correctly, and yeah, as I mentioned, he is a pervert. I think. Ew! Don't block my attract with charm, you old pervert. This lady is from the other merchant guild. Gunpowder said we should help her, so we need to kick some trespassers out of the merchant's hut. Might have to fight them. Yes, it's quite simple really. No lethal action, of course, but you may need to use some brute force. Shrimpsworth, Malt, and Sandy need to be evicted one way or another. You can do that for me, yes? Oh yes. Yes. You feel it too, Sundance. I saw it in your eyes, so honest. This is our chance to make some ends meet, hmm? Yeah, true. I will get to this in a second. I want to point something out about the art of this comic that I like. Of course we can help. Actually, I've been wanting a little heart-to-heart with Mr. Shroomsworth for some time now. But we can't just barge in there. He's a gentleman, but he's still a Breloom. His fighting type attacks could prove problematic. Malt is also a potential issue. I don't know enough about his combat prowess to form a solid plan of attack. As for Sandy, she's just a child, and my partner has an advantage there. She won't be too much trouble. Wow, I was just gonna march in and knock them all out. If only. But they would overpower us in a direct confrontation. We need to do this cautiously. Dimitri, you know camouflage, right? Here is how we'll do this. Listen up, you two. So yeah, I think I don't know why they didn't want Pokemon made these NPC characters using moves in their stories. But I guess the players were able to take advantage of their movesets in one way or another. And then we got Wham. Oh my god, look at him. The poor soul. Morning, ladies and gentlemen. How's business this fine day? Goodness, would you mind just knocking next time? We only recently had those doors bolted in. Oh, I do plan on doing some knocking, but not necessarily on the door. The lovely Miss Anana of Almamola Bay Merchants Guild claims that you shouldn't be here. See where this is going? Good grief, listen, Rogue, your guild has nothing to do with this. Kindly leave. Actually, I'm taking this mission for personal reasons too. Do you perhaps recall authorizing a long-term contract with an independent marketer at Tower Ranch some time ago? A very one-sided contract that probably turned out some remarkable profits for a good few years. A leech seed deal, you kind would call it. Okay, so I have no idea the context behind that. I don't know what you're talking about, but I must remind you that such deals are legal and still require a signature. Oh, of course. Deception is legal if the trap isn't hidden. If an inexperienced trader signs in before being presented the fine prints, that's entirely his fault. He deserves the eventual bankruptcy and the life of poverty that follows. Just another statistics for the charts. Again, I have zero context for this. This might be a player-related thing. Oh, well, such is life. My current contract dictates that I need to throw you out, but a free-for-all would be ugly. My partner is so young. One love tap from you would probably break his pretty glass jaw. We don't want that. Let's do this like gentlemen, one-on-one. The loser leaves the room. Fair? Well, at least someone has a spot of class around here. I don't like this. What if it's a trap? Malt, even 2-on-1 against me, they are rather outclassed. You can be the adjudicator. Maybe, but still. Alright, sir. On the count of 3, we shall engage in fisticuffs. 1, 2, don't Stop shaking. Don't give him that satisfaction. 3 and 3. Bam! Look at this. This is fucking badass. I love it. It's just a shame of what happens afterwards. Shit. Not quite as planned. And then it gets boom. I'm afraid you really don't stand a chance, good sir. You're right. I was deluded to think I could match you in a fair duel. Sorry for wasting your time. Charm. He's really such a gentleman. Now chin up. I'm sure that among your own kind, you're quite you're quite And then sweet kiss. You see why I hate this bastard now? Oh, and not only that, watch what happens next. What is even happening? I'm floating. Look at this shit. He just bites his lip with Super Fang after kissing him. Dimitri, now. Dimitri? Sorry. God, this hurts so much, but just look at how fucking epic the fight scene is otherwise. Like, holy shit! Like, I'm not happy about Shrimsworth getting dirty treatment, but hey, if he's getting outdone in a battle like this, I would rather be badass and epic like this than, yeah. Like, god damn! No! I knew it was a trick! Okay, so who's next? Shrimsworth, are you alright? I'm coming! It's just you and her now, Sonny. Yeah, I think I know what this is about. Lots of Sneasels still resent me a lot, even more now with Rhodes gone. You want to avenge Slasher or something? Well, here I am. Oh, they don't know about the time travel stuff. I guess that's the point they were trying to make or something. I guess they were trying to make it look like Man Yowie. And I guess they were also trying to tap into Rowan Hart being that old pervert character. Slasher was my boss. I liked him. You killed him. I'm gonna rip your stupid jaws out and gut you with them. Son, no killing, remember? Listen. Come on, if you really hate me so much, then I'll fight you. I'd rather be hated than ignored anyway. Yeah, exactly. You gotta treat the subjects with the right respect. Otherwise, it'll just come out in poor taste. Then crunch. Son, no! I'm sorry. Oh. It was a fake crunch. Jeez. I don't think... I'm not sure if Sandy would actually do that. I didn't want to kill him. I just wanted to make him stop hurting my friend. I can still taste the blood sometimes. I hate it. To you. I'm a killer to everyone else. I'm a burden. It's okay to be mad, I understand. Wait, I think it's supposed to be red, this, but I just fucked it up because, well, this turns into this, and so, yeah. Come on, get up, crybaby. Am I a bad guy? It's not about who's bad or good. You lost someone you cared about because I tried to save someone I care about. I'm the bad guy this time. But, hey, maybe later we can talk about it some more? Okay, maybe. Now, let me through. I have to make sure Shrimsworth is alright. You know, after you guys beat him up and stuff. Why the fuck are you standing like that, Dimitri? And later that night, I'm pleased with this mission's turnout, but I'm not pleased that my rash decisions put you in danger. It's okay, Ro. It's weird. I thought hurting Sandy would make me feel good, but now I just feel dumb and weak. I don't even think I had a real reason to hate Sandy anyway. But out of all the rewards, why did you choose a book? It's a special book of power. You must never read it. Oh, okay. I think it's time to sleep. Good night, Sundance. Good night. In my dreams that night, there was no blood, and nobody died. Also, of course, fucking Rowan Hart would pick the 50 Shades of Grey reference. Also, it's got a sensor bars to boot. So, yeah, that was that mission. And like I said, as much as I hate, where is it? As much as I fucking hate this, like I despise it so much, I just want to grab my, um, yeah, it did read a lot better than the official comics. I will give it that. They certainly knew what they were doing. Come on, I thought I sent this to him. Did I not? Okay, so I didn't send him the picture that I wanted to, that I intended. I think I sent him a completely different picture of a Force of Nature, but, yeah, let me just go into my Steam inventory real quick, because, that's not my Team Fortress 2 inventory. It's somewhere along in here. Where is it? Come on, Wait, is that it? Yeah, here it is. Yeah, it is definitely PMD after all. So yeah, I jokingly have a sort of, well, it's a joke-hatred relationship with Pachirisu. Not just because of this, but apparently when I was looking for shiny Spritzies in the Cobblemon Mythical Dungeon server, I found like 2 shiny Pachirisus in a row. Again, joke hate. It's joke hate. I don't actually hate Pachirisu. I just put on a facade. So yeah, expect me to go gra male Pachirisu for the funny moments, not for legitimate hatred reasons. Okay, here we go. This is my vintage specialized Killstreak ambassador. As you can see, it's got Team Shine, which I think costed like $5. And I've been using this during my Freak Fortress streams. I think Rowan Hart would like it, don't you think? Yeah, I can make sure I let him have a very good look at it. Make sure he gets an eyeful. Okay. Now that that's over with, I will take a little sip as we get ready for the... Where is it? For the next one. I'm just gonna leave this picture up here while we wait for me to finish my drink. All right. Here we go. In a flash. Hours. In mere hours, there would be a veritable bloodbath in Tau Village. The thought hung with PK, filling her with more anxiety than she could ever remember experiencing. To think that they would be spilling blood in the very place where she lived peacefully as a leader in her own time. In this time, that didn't matter. Survival mattered. The colorful poncho adorning PK's body swayed as she stepped forth. Even though it wasn't long enough to trip over, she found herself watching her steps. She was still getting used to having a flowing article of clothing on. It was necessary, though, and it didn't look too bad on her at least. Surely many of the Pokemon who would be aiding PK were confused, concerned, perhaps even scared. more so than her, even. She knew the purpose quite well, for all of her worries in actually confronting the attacking Zoroark. The existence of almost everyone around her depended on the survival of one Pokemon, and she couldn't help but check up on her one last time before the fighting broke out. Is that right? Check up on her one last time? Oh, that's right, Jasmine. The wooden door creaked open with a single, easy push. Workmanship in these days didn't include sturdy hinges like in her time, she thought. Immediately she spotted the wounded Celebi lying upon one of several beds in the room meant for treating the ill. The usual caretakers were out, preparing for battle after having done all they could to make their patient comfortable. However, PK's attention turned slightly left to the one other conscious person in the room. He was kneeling next to the Celebi, and his feather-adorned head alertly turned to the source of the creak. "Oh, hi, Miss PK." The young Sneasel didn't bother getting up, still wearing his forlorn expression from the night prior. Jasmine's still the same as ever. I thought you'd be getting ready outside." It's true, she probably should have been doing a bit more of that. Yet PK found herself wanting to visit this room. Perhaps, in a way, to remind herself what it's all going to be for. To see the reality of Jasmine's condition. PK stepped forward and between Jasmine's bed and another, seating herself on the adjacent one with a sigh. "Rhodes," she began, bringing her gaze to the young Sneasel kneeling nearby. "Are you going to be okay?" The boy's well, the boy's well-being mattered to her too. Everyone would see death that night, but he had already seen it. But he had already seen it in one of their own. It wasn't fair, she thought. He's just a kid. "I'm sure I'll be okay later, Miss PK," Rhodes responded, looking down and thoughtfully pressing his pointed fingers together. He was never the best liar, and a mildly frustrated shake of his head later showed that he was aware of it. "I can't believe everything was so bad in the past." There wasn't much else PK could have replied to that with, except, "We're all pretty surprised at that. I mean, look at what I have to do just so we can have a chance to make it. I mean, look at what I have to do just so we have a chance to make it." I don't know why I added an extra word. She said, gesturing down at herself and the unique poncho upon her body. Its purpose, in this case, was to be a weapon, and everyone knew that. She was expected to help everyone kill, if not do some of the killing herself. Thinking about it made anxiety well up within her. If not for a sudden wrapping of arms around her, she might have remained that way until the battle took place. "Thank you." Hmm. It was simple. It was sweet. A hug and gratitude. Yet it hit PK surprisingly hard. No one else around seemed to care that much about what she was doing. Pokemon who had lived in her village, some for their entire lives, didn't appreciate her like a little former thief from the woods did. She almost felt like she could cry, but another feeling took her over. Her arms wrapped around Rhodes in kind, and she could feel a sort of bright warmth filling and emanating from her into the room, like a light with her as the source. Suddenly, she couldn't help but notice what an odd interest she took in Rhodes. He was attractive. More accurately, his personality and his gratitude to her. He made her feel radiant. "Why are you glowing, Miss PK?" the young Sneasel asked. PK couldn't find the need to be concerned with that. In the back of her mind, she remembered the poncho causing such things before, along with some other detail briefly mentioned by GK. She couldn't recall that part. She only knew that right now, she wanted to pull Rhodes up. So she did, keeping her hug upon him and falling backwards. Hmm. Obviously, this confused the boy. He also shielded his eyes with one of his paws, unable to bear the brightness emanating from the poncho. "Ugh. What are you? Whoa!" he exclaimed, rolled onto his back with PK, um, up, up, she's up. "Shh! You can't be surprised at this!" PK said knowingly. She didn't have to pin Rhodes under herself as he seemed to trust her enough not to move. Instead, she shifted to lay at his side, where she began tickling her fingers down his. Why? Mm, why? What do you mean? What did I do? Rhodes asked nervously. His dark furred body twitched as soon as she. Ugh, he gasped. It tickled. Oh my god, are you ready for this? PK scoffed and rolled her eyes, now trailing her palm down Rhodes's smooth belly. Fuck. You really know how to put the moves on a girl, she said. Did you really just say that? She surprised herself. It felt wrong, and yet she couldn't stop. Furiously, Rhodes shook his head. I'm not putting any moves on any girl. I don't steal stuff any. This is where it begins. This is where it begins. I'm not reading any of this shit. She is touching him in a place that she should not be touching at all. She is doing things to him, and she's like, this isn't about stealing, just rewarding you for good behavior. And even Rhodes is like he's looking down at his and he's like, this is not supposed to be happening. And then PK says, does it look like I care? PK asks rhetorically. Okay. Alright. A break from that. However, something then caught her eye and brought her mind back around. Jasmine, though unconscious, was still in the room with them. How shameful was it to do this in front of her? How shameful was it to do this at all? As she came to this realization, the room began to darken, as did her clothing. Oh, oh God! PK exclaimed, quickly releasing Rhodes from her grip and sitting up, horrified. How could she do something like that? I'm so sorry, Rhodes. I can't believe I was talking to you that way, and you know what happened. God! Ugh! She exclaimed, though in a whisper now that she was conscious of the sleeping Pokemon in the room. This didn't stop her from smacking her fists against her upper legs in frustration, though. It took Rhodes a moment to realize it had all suddenly stopped before he sat up again beside PK at the side of the bed. He was obviously confused, but also obviously still. No. Just no. No. Okay. God. Okay, so now they're just fucking hiding it under the poncho. Okay, I guess I'll just have to read the dialogue. What were you doing, Miss PK? And then PK says, It's it's something adults do when they really like each other. You wouldn't understand because you're too young for it, and it was the same lecture anyone would think to give a kid. But when PK looked over the roads and saw him break eye contact after what she just said, she found herself trailing off. After all he'd been through, maybe calling attention to his age wasn't the most respectful thing to do. The average kid wouldn't have survived to be sitting next to her right now. She had to be honest with him. With a with a sigh, PK tried again. It's supposed to be fun and feel really nice, but you can't do it when you're younger because, uh, listen, Rhodes. She interrupted herself again, feeling too awkward. This probably isn't something I should talk about. You're not gonna like what happens next. Well, that's okay, Rhodes replied. He wasn't smiling, but he didn't appear to be upset either. I just think it felt kinda. You see what I mean? See what I mean? Why the. Why? Why did they think this was okay? Hmm. Great, PK thought. She had to address this now. Stupid Poncho. It was all that thing's fault, right? She didn't really feel like doing that with Rhodes, did she? Yeah, here's the thing, PK began, pausing frequently as she tried to find the right words. She was so lost in a situation like this. It's not. You're not supposed to know about stuff like that yet. It'll get you in trouble, alright? Rose stared up her blankly for a few moments, and PK felt like she wanted to just die right then and there. It was too much. Fortunately, a nod of understanding from him washed those thoughts away. Okay, Rhodes confirmed, before turning and hugging PK from the side. She felt her lips curl with embarrassment. It hadn't gone away at all, and he was shameless in nudging the side of her hip with it when he hugged her. What's more, she didn't instinctively react. I'm not reading that. I'm not reading that. Fuck that. I'm not reading that. It was then she realized the horrible truth, and yeah, they what do you want me to say here? I shouldn't say anything. And she's enjoying this shit too. I'm scrolling now. Yeah, yeah. She's she's telling him what to do. She is teaching him. What the fuck do you want me to say? Okay, okay. All right. It's over. Here you go. Wait, hold on. Wait, hold on. Yeah. Here you go, Rhodes, PK said encouragingly. I've got to go get ready for all this. Are you going to be all right with Jasmine? The question seemed to bring Rhodes back to reality as he sat up, breathing out a sigh before nodding. Yeah, I feel a little tired though, he warned. Uh, PK worried. It might not have been the best idea to. However, she managed to calm herself down as she remembered. Ah, don't worry. Some members of the guild will be watching this room. If you need some rest, though, you should get it now. With an understanding nod, Rhodes Rhodes let himself fall backwards dramatically, not even bothering to bring the bed's blankets over himself. While he didn't fall asleep immediately, it was clear that he didn't intend to go anywhere for a while. Amused, PK quietly opened the door and exited the room. Though she didn't feel she had wronged Rhodes, it was probably best to be tight-lipped about what they'd done together, especially if they did get back to the present. She shuddered to think about anyone finding out there with so many gossiping busybodies around. Putting her mind at rest on that subject for the time being, PK's thoughts once again turned to the oncoming threat. She'd have to be focused if they were to survive. I feel like my entire soul has just left my body. Yeah, if you if you don't think it's wrong, then why do you also think that no one should know about it? That is right. If you think that no one should know about it, then that's wrong. I mean, you yourself even were like, you shouldn't be knowing about this yet you're still doing it to. Fuck. I can't. Oh, and the retcon. I guess I can briefly go over that. This might be a shorter reading than last night, way shorter reading than last night even. I just need to find the message that I sent regarding said retcon because it was like a while ago. Where is it? It was like a really long post. I think this is it. No, that's not it. Where's the part about is it up here? No. Hang on, it might be on the PMDE tag on Tumblr because I remember posting it on there. Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah, that's the post. That's the post. I'll have to copy and paste this. Ooh, give me a second. I'll bring said post up. Okay. So, wait, actually, I should probably put this in a different thing. So, yeah, here's that image. But yeah, on co-host, Glip did talk about retconning this story for whatever fucking reason. And quote, I wanted to write about some of the changes I'm making to the story for PK's sake. I feel I passed on abuse to her that didn't make sense for her as a character. That wasn't fair to her, fair to me, or fair to anyone who cared about PK and Rhodes as characters back during PMDE times. I was still new to storytelling, was really inexperienced with it, as well as having a lot of unprocessed sexual traumas as a kid and young adult. This meant I made a lot of decisions about allowing certain story things that hurt both me and others, and I intend to change this going forward. I'm going to talk about some of the details, but please be warned it touches on some heavy topics. Let's see another quote here. Regarding PK, the big thing on my mind right now is the time that I approved of a story my then friend wrote between PK and a character called Rhodes, who is more of a teen, a Sneasel, still not an adult, but PK was a young adult, and this story had intimacy in it. I don't even remember why this story was one I approved. You don't remember? Really? When I think back on it, it doesn't make sense. What I recall, Rhodes had feelings and started acting out on PK. Fuck no, that's not what happened. I literally read what happened. She wasn't acting on him. Yeah. If there if there isn't a better example of trying to pin the blame on someone else for something that is obviously out there for anyone to see, then this is it. Let me continue the quote so we can all furrow our brows even more. She didn't really know how to handle it and went along with it. She felt guilty over it. That's basically all I recall. Also, I'm not interested in rereading it since this is more about how it emotionally landed in me at the time and since then. You heard it right there. She wasn't interested on finding it and rereading it, even to see if she fucked up any details regarding it at all. They were like, yeah, no, fuck no. I'm not rereading that, but I'm going to retcon stuff in it anyway. That's just a bunch of paragraphs that I don't think really matter to this. I just don't care about. And then she's like, so this is on my mind too, that it took me over a decade to realize I could just go, then PK didn't do that because it doesn't make sense, and I want to continue the story thread that's more aligned to her. And then she has the audacity to say, there wasn't enough compassion in PMDE, so I'd like to change that. And also say a lot of other things were made more or less in the same shape of what happened emotionally during PMDE. Like, absolutely one of the worst things I've ever seen. Like, actually. God, I just remembered how many tabs I had open on this. I still need to close all these tabs. You know, I'm happy that I'm the one who has roads now. Cause if Glip decided to to do this PMDE continuation, and I wasn't there to be the dumbass who had who just asked Luvachi, "Hey, can I have your characters?" and he just said that he didn't mind it, then there would be a chance that Glip would not only have Shroomsworth, but also have Rhodes too, because of their dumb this belongs to PMDE bullshit. Yeah. I will protect him with my life. I will protect both Rhodes and Shrooms with my life. Hmm. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Mm. Exactly. I'm just I'm just quiet right now. Just I gotta get to this reading soon. All right. Let's bring the music back because we're done with that with that with that bullshit. We're done with something that shouldn't have existed. Scars and regrets. This is going to close mission 8, I think, because I don't think there's an epilogue for any of these. Oh, well, there's Lethe Wept. But I'm going to cover Lethe Wept and the rest of the tasks tomorrow. At least I'll try to. Anyway, a chilled night had fallen upon the Tau village of the past. A roaring, warm bonfire, reduced to its weakest flame as though it struggled to stay alight, still fought off the cold in its vicinity. After all of the hardships many of the present Pokemon had been through, they had earned their rest, and they were taking it. In scattered rows they slept, too numerous for the meager buildings to hold. It was nothing like their time, where residences were plenty. The one respite lay in the native villagers' willingness to provide sleeping implements for their comfort. All but one of them would rest at that hour. Seated at the dying fire with her back to a nearby log, a purple Kecleon, well known to the rest from her time, was alone. Not only physically, but in feeling as well. The mild warmth provided by what remained of the once great bonfire did little to comfort her. Even her blanket was cast to the side, unwanted. Before their slumber, just about everyone had written a message to their loved ones from their time, locked away in a most impenetrable box. It would surely get to them through the ages. That was the idea, anyway. You'll probably never even see it. What a stupid waste of time we all just went through, PK muttered to herself, her voice cracking with held-back grief. She didn't cry, though. There were enough tears before. They were probably a waste, too, she thought. The longer they'd be forced to spend their days in the past, the more she'd have to forget about that sort of thing and focus on the here and now anyway. Though she never admitted, many thoughts were racing through PK's head about that very subject she was trying to convince herself to overcome. Her mind just went in circles over it without any distraction or someone to speak with. It was frustrating, and too personal for anyone around her to hear. Mike? No way. Nice guy in some ways, but he always manages to make her want to scream in some fashion, and she couldn't handle that right then. Devonshire? He seemed practically unfazed by the entire thing. It was unsettling. She couldn't talk to him. Another Pokemon approached from out of PK's view at that moment, noticed only by the sound of their movement. They didn't speak, nor did PK find herself wanting to turn and see who it was. Gazing at that fire was perhaps the only thing keeping her sane. The only distraction, albeit a minor one. Whoever it was would probably annoy her anyway. She found herself glad, in a way, that they didn't speak, though she heard them shuffle around next to her, probably to sit down. Curiosity was a tough feeling to resist. PK turned her head and saw the familiar scarred face of a Sneasel staring into the flames as she had been. It was Rhodes, and he appeared distant. For some reason, PK's prior thoughts hadn't turned to him as a possibility to talk to. Perhaps it was his younger age? Perhaps it was that he always seemed to favor Shroomsworth when they were all together. She couldn't really place what made her think that way, but in actuality, she knew she could trust him. In those ponderous moments, Rhodes still hadn't so much as showed notice of her. He just stared straight on. This made PK realize who would have to break the ice, which she bravely decided to do while glancing toward Rhodes. Are you okay? Immediately, it felt like the stupidest thing she'd ever said, but it was his response. That really made her heart jump. No. PK had a problem, sure, but with that one word, that one quick, woefully confident response from someone who would never speak like that, her focus couldn't help but shift to him. Want to talk about it? She quietly asked after a small delay. An uncharacteristically gentle tone from her, but she was speaking to perhaps the only remaining person who warranted it. She watched Rhodes merely bow his head in thought. She really hadn't seen him like that, even after Shroomsworth left. His eyes hardly moved, fixated on the ground as he spoke. I saw how sad you were after you wrote your letter. I'd just make you sadder. He saw that? It wasn't like she made much of an attempt to hide it, but he made himself so scarce at that time, she didn't see him anymore. Rhodes, PK began, reaching an arm out and placing it over his shoulders, pulling him in for a hug of sorts. Rhodes simply let himself lean in her direction, and she continued. I don't want to lie to you. We could be stuck here. I hope we're not, but if we are, well, you might be all I've got. Sandy, Hemalt, and Shrimsworth. We wouldn't see them again. It was a difficult string of words for PK to manage, and she couldn't do it without choking up at all. That's why I was crying. After we fought, and further silence ensued. Another glance at Rhodes was met with him thoughtfully turning his eyes up toward the fire again. It seemed like they badly wanted to droop close to sleep, but perhaps just like her, he couldn't do that. Winston isn't here, is he? Rhodes suddenly asked, apparently finally feeling up to talking. It caught PK off guard, as Winston was honestly the last thing on her mind. He and Rose did go off together, though. The concern made sense. I haven't seen him. Why? Oddly, Rhodes looked not toward the low-burning flame, but away from PK entirely. Then he bluntly broke the news. He's dead, then. To hear Rhodes say such a thing filled PK with so much more unease than if it were anyone else. Winston was far from even tolerable by her standards, but dead? What? How do you know? PK began to ask, only to catch herself and close her eyes, as her mind worked a little faster than her mouth. Did something happen before Jasmine brought you here? Already, PK felt like she was stressing Rhodes. As tired as he looked, she could only feel terrible about that. Even still, she got her answer. The younger Pokemon finally looked her in the eye. We went all the way to the mountain, and some bad stuff happened. I tried... Rhodes paused, averting his gaze from PK's once more as his eyes watered. I tried to save him, and they caught up to him, and... As he tried to explain himself, Rose was emotionally losing it. His voice seemed to struggle mid-sentence, and he simply gave up and began to cry. PK couldn't take it anymore. She took Rhodes in both arms, rather than one. A true hug that allowed the young Sneasel to return the favor. Shh, she warmly consoled, simply allowing him to let out his feelings all he wanted. We've been through a lot, and we're not in the best place right now. PK almost stopped, feeling an infectious desire to bawl her eyes out all the same, but managing to bear it. But we still have each other, right? Everything's going to be okay. It wasn't so much something PK could truly believe as something she truly wanted, that they would be okay despite the things that weighed on the both of them. Despite that, it was enough of a comfort to Rose that his uncontrollable crying quieted down into sniffling. In a way, helping him to calm down was helping her to do the same thing herself. Plus, simply having him there made her feel less alone. With a turn of her head, PK spotted that discarded blanket of hers. Hey, she began in a whisper, releasing one arm from Rhodes just to grasp that soft green sheet and tug it over. It was large, admittingly. She demanded it as such, refusing anything that might leave her freezing at night. No reason we should both go sleep alone somewhere in the dirt. She then wrapped it around the both of them, which it was the perfect size for, and she guided the both of them to lie down before the fire, which had finally died down to embers in their time spent with each other. There was no vocal agreement from Rhodes, though he looked at her and, through his sniffling, managed to smile, and his eyes finally began succumbing to their weariness. His sleepiness was about as infectious as his sadness, and PK felt that firsthand, belting out a yawn before settling in and pulling their blanket over her shoulder. It was cold, and things were far from better in the big picture, but they would at least sleep soundly that night. I guess this happened before the whole, that happened, because it does happen after the letter, and before the stuff happened. Hmm. Yeah, I I don't even know if I want to continue with like doing something fun like watching PK get the shit beat out of her by Toho edits and King of Fighters edits. Cause like I just I went through something very serious tonight, and I think it would be in best regards to end the stream right here, like 1 hour before I usually am supposed to end it. So yeah, tomorrow we're gonna look through Lethe Wept, and then the tasks. I will I will see you all tomorrow. I'm going to try and hang out with some friends to hopefully get over this. Because I think we all need something to we all need something fun to help us get over what we just witnessed. So yeah. Good night, everyone. I hope you all sleep well tonight.